What's the optimal rep range for growth? I don't know. Oh, it's too funny. Like, I know a lot of times people always say to me, Chris, like, what's the optimal rep range for growth? And, you know, the stereotypical answer that I grew up with is if you're trying to build the most amount of lean muscle tissue, it's 8 to 12. And for the most part, I would agree with that. Like, as a whole, if you ask me for a blanket statement, I'll say 8 to 12. Sure, go for it, attack, see what happens. And the longer I do this, you know, more people I help across the world, I've really found more like 8 to 20, maybe even 25 is the range. But the point of this video I want to get across to you guys is it's not the rep total. It is simply the effort per set. So an analogy I always like to tell people is the rep goal I have for a set is not the end. It's just simply a goal. The destination is when I reach muscular failure. And if you go back and you watch any of my videos that Chaz has filmed over this, if you hear me yell again, most people I think assume that's just my way of saying I'm going to go again. Again is me telling Chaz, don't cut the camera off. He asked how many reps I was going to do. I was saying, somewhere around 12. And I get to 12 and I'm going. I yell again so I know he doesn't cut the camera off. And then honestly, it just kind of becomes habitual. And I do that all the time, even when I'm by myself. So I'll have a goal in mind of a number I want to beat. Him and I just filmed a legged curl where I said, hey, I want more than 12. And I think I ended up getting 14 and a half. So you hear me after that yell again and again, or you see me do it with the true squat with Chris. He'll say, Chris, I want you to get at least 10. I'll get past 10. I'm like, don't you cut that motherfucker down, meaning the newbie. So I know so many are tied to, if I write into a program, like I want 4 sets of 10 to 12 on, say, dumbbell side laterals. What if 12, I'm still cruising and cooking that weight? Why stop? It's not the end of the set just because I've reached my target number of reps at the beginning of the set. Because we've all picked up weight and it's either been heavier than we thought it was going to be or lighter than we thought it was going to be. Very rarely do I ever truly hit failure at my target rep total. And I know with this new inclusion of the logbook that everyone's going back to, they're like, oh, Chris, like I have to do, 10 reps plus 2 forced, and that's a win for me. Cool. So if you get to 10 and you're still going, why would you set the dumbbells down? I don't understand that. And then I have had other people say to me, oh, Chris, I can't end on not an even number. What the fuck does that even mean? I don't care if we do 9 or 13 or 17. The rep totals don't matter. Like anyone who's ever trained with me, a lot of times we don't even discuss rep ranges. I'm just like, I don't know, 12-ish. It might be 8. It might be 10. It might be 13. It might be 20. Like people get so tied to like, okay, I've reached my target number. Check. If I'm doing hack squats and I'm still exploding through the mid range, and my arms aren't shaking, and I didn't really have to like grip my teeth and go, I'm not stopping. I'm not on a work set. Now, if I'm doing a more volume-based approach, like let's say, for example, one of the videos Chaz and I filmed with legs, I was doing hack squats for 10 to 12, and then I'd go over and take the true squat to failure. I'm not going to bottom that hack squat out because I just need to pre-exhaust my quads and do a hard set where I might have still 1, 2, maybe even 3 reps in the tank on that hack. And then I'm going to go over to the true squat and I'm going to go until I can't stand up. Again, that's an example. Because there's a difference between volume and what I would consider top set and back off. And top set and back off I have to take to true failure to get the most growth out of. If I'm doing a more volume-based approach, I can leave 1 to 3 reps in the tank. I just need to make sure they're hard. Or if I'm taking the volume approach, let's say if I'm doing dumbbell press and I'm going to press the 150s for 4 sets of 8 to 12. On the first 3 sets, I'm going to make them pretty hard. Where if someone said, hey, Chris, your kid's life depends upon 3 more, I could probably do it. Now, on the 4th and final set of that dumbbell incline press, I'm going to go to the end to where I can't press anymore, or even have Chaz come over and give me a bump up on my elbows to get 2 force reps. Because in the last set of each exercise of a volume-based approach, I can take it to the end because I'm done with that exercise. Where if I have my goal is to do 3 or I have 4 sets, there's no way I can go to failure with 150s and then try to think I'm going to come back and hit 3 more times with that, even remotely sniffing a rep above 5. So you have to look at the landscape of your workout and your training session, how your program is designed and set up. For the most part, if you work with me, I'm going to want you to take your final set of each work set, or final two, depending on how it's set up, to the absolute end. So beat the number. Don't go to the number. Beat the body, not the number. Does that make sense? Like, I need the muscle that I'm training, the target muscle, to fail, to be completely done with energy and power, and then I can walk away. It isn't because I've achieved 12 reps. It's because I need that muscle to be done before I move on to the next exercise. So take that, apply it to your training. I promise if you do this and get good at it, you'll see the most growth you've ever had in your entire life. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, Criminals TV.